Welcome, guys, to the Kaizen podcast. We're at Kaizen Adrenaline 2023. I've got Carl Fisher and Craige Lawson from Wimbledon BJJ with us today. You guys are teaching a little bit later on today.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of a rundown on what it is you're going to be covering today.
We're on mat 2.
Yep.
About 3:15, and we'll be covering traditional jiu-jitsu, self-protection techniques, stuff that I've used in the 30 years on the doors that have worked under pressure.
Yep.
And then Craige will be coming on board near to the end, and he'll be doing a talk discussion about reasonable force and how it applies to your self-defense training.
Cool. Now we did that. It was last year's as well. You've actually got quite a good approach. So I was on the mats for that one. We had a good time with that one. So your experience, your outside of BJJ experiences within the police force?
Yeah, so I was about 20 years in the police. Then sort of part of the work I did there was as a trainer. So everything that I do around this sort of use of force and that whole legal side of things is all that will get taught to cops.
Yeah.
And what I do is I just kind of mould it to suit civilian approach, because it's not all relevant what cops will be taught, but all the models you go through and the reasonable force and how you should use force and what's proportional and what's not, that's all exactly the same. So that's where I would come from. So we'd kind of blend it in with the training. So we'll do the techniques, take them to what we'd say is a suitable finish, and then part of the talk of it would go, Rob, why don't you go that step further? What do you need to do to keep yourself safe if you ever do get in touch with the police? And it can happen. If you're involved in self-defense, you're involved in martial arts, and you get into a fight,
they tend to just round everybody up, don't they?
They can. And you've got to understand it. And I'll never go down the line to saying, right, when you get nicked, this is what you must say. When you go to court, this is what you must say, because there isn't a one size fits all. So what we look at between us is what approach should you take to make sure that everything you do fits within that legal parameters of use of force, so you don't have to have that panic later on because you're quite justified in what you've done.
Right. So how did you guys start training together then? Was it because you're not based in the same place, are you?
We're not, are we? So I still do traditional jiu-jitsu with Rob Phelps in Leicester, and you were doing some seminars, didn't you?
Yeah, we was doing myself and Gary Hilton. Gary had his outfit called Precision Self-Protection, and he's a striking background, and I met him at a seminar up in Manchester, I think, and we got chatting, and I saw his syllabus. I said, I do grappling. I said, let's work together. He said, right, no problem. Gary's like the striking instructor, I'm the grappling instructor, and we did a few seminars just before lockdown. That's where I'd met Craige previously at Rob's, because I've done some jiu-jitsu groundwork seminars there. So Craige came on the PSP one, wasn't it? Just before lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we've made friends and things, and me and Gary at the same time, we thought, hang on a minute, Craige's ex-policeman, let's get him on board for the legal, so he's a legal advisor, I think.
So you sort of pulled your respective specialties and
pulled everything in. I think
you've got that standardised system in place.
Yeah, like Craige was saying, that the legal side, it's not covered a lot. But a lot of clubs, it's just do this, do that, hit this, hit that. No, what if? Well, what if you did that and you didn't intend to hurt them, but as they fell down, they cracked the skull and they're bleeding out the ribs and they're unresponsive, and you get arrested and you're like, oh my god, you've got to justify yourself. So that area, it's seldom taught, so I think that gives us quite a unique approach to our self-defense training.
So let's have a look at your sort of like your competitive backgrounds. I know you went up against Tom Hardy, didn't you?
I didn't go up.
You were in the same tournament.
I was in the same tournament. Yeah, I didn't fight him. I'm a little bit too old and a little bit too fat to fit in his own category. But no, I was in that tournament. I mean, I competed back in the 90s in traditional taekwondo when I was doing that, and then more recently, since doing BJJ with Carl, I've competed the last couple of years. Not quite got the gold medal yet, and I think my lad says to me, Dad, Dad, all you need to do is try a bit harder. So I've had a couple of silvers. I think you just, you know what? Yeah. So that's me. Very sort of limited at the moment. No.
You have quite a lot of the guys from the Wimbledon BJJ gym competing, don't you?
Yeah,
I see fairly regular on your social media. You've always got people placing, which is it must be really good as a coach to sort of see your youngins coming up like that.
Half an hour ago, I've got three lads were competing at a competition in London today. We've got 3 gold medals.
Yes, nice, well done.
3 of them. One got gold, and he entered a division above. They offered him another division, so he got that. I've got teenagers competing, and we're a very active club for that.
That's awesome. That is. It's nice to see because I'm obviously not experienced in that kind of competition. So I mean, is regular competition something that you want to push people to be doing if they're into BJJ, or you know, is it something that you can sort of leave to the wayside and just focus on building your technical skills?
I don't pressure everybody. You must compete or you don't get a belt.
Yeah.
I tell them the benefits. I've competed all over the world, all multi-styles of grappling and whatever, and I've seen the benefits, the lifelong friends you get. And if you want to pressure test yourself outside of the gym, just go to a competition, you know, and you learn things. You get the respect of everybody that's competed. I have some students who started in the 40s and 50s, and they just say, "Well, it's not for me. I'm a bit old. I've got injuries. So if you want to do it, fine. I'll encourage you all the way." But some of my students, they say, "I'm not into that. I just want to do the keep fit, self-defense side." So I think that's fine. So.
It's a good, like you say, that pressure testing. It is a good arena to go in, and just the fact of getting up in the morning, going to a venue, walking in here for a competition, putting your gear on or whatever, and going on the mats and facing someone is daunting. I always say the hardest bit is actually getting on the mats, and I think you do once you've done it, you do think you hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And as soon as I get there, I'm like, everyone's bigger than me, everyone's faster than me, everyone's better than me. I've got no chance. And then once you start, you kind of get into it, and you come away thinking it wasn't that bad. I'll do it again, and then you go for that same cycle. But I think, like I said, that pressure testing side of it is very good.
I think you get used to controlling your adrenal response, don't you, from that kind of that constant pressured approach.
Yeah.
So where are we going to see you guys over the next, say, like 5 years? Are you building with precision self-protection? Are we just going to see Wimbledon BJJ sort of grow and take on the world? What is next for you guys?
All of the above.
All of the above, yeah. All of the above. Yeah, I'm just working on building the gym up in London, working with Craige and Gary, building up the self-protection side. So they're 2 separate entities. So just getting out on the seminar circuit, and for this type of thing is more the traditional martial art, the self-protection side. With Luke's Japanese martial arts event, that was a good showcase for me.
I think we're going to have another one of those at some point, aren't we? So
I sold that as a sport jiu-jitsu with a lot of traditional jiu-jitsu.
Well, I'll tell you about that one at the Japanese martial arts show. That key lock that you ran through and being able to push your head through, I've used that like 1,000,001 times. I've stolen that at mine now.
It's all right. That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah.
But the approach that you had to teaching it was so simple that even somebody like myself, I'm not a ground fighter by nature, so being able to pick something up like that from a very striking based background, it just goes to show that there's a very obvious and easy crossover there.
I look at it thinking, those like the techniques we'll do today, it isn't a case of, right, if you're not doing grappling, don't bother. It's for everyone. And if you've never done grappling, great, come and have a go. Simple, gross motor skill techniques, and again with the use of force side of it, is no one's expecting you to be a lawyer or a police officer. All it is basic knowledge, so it's almost like just looking at principles. Let's not delve into the law. Let's not try and dissect what something means. Let's look at the principle of what it is and understand that. And then once you understand the principle around use and force, you've got a lot better option of giving yourself.
It's like a responsibility you've got, really, isn't it, as a martial arts practitioner, because you have those skills and the potential capacity for violence. You should equally have the responsibility that couples.
It's a choice, isn't it? You have to being violent is a choice, and and again, if you're training martial arts, you have that capacity to be violent, and if you're in a confrontation, you've got to be able to be at least as violent as that person that's threatening violence against you. As horrible as it sounds, that is it. You have to be able to, but it's a choice of when you use it, and that's where the moral side of it comes in. Is we don't choose to go around beating everyone up. You keep yourself peaceful up until the point you need to. So it's trying to educate people across the whole spectrum of the physical side, but then the thought-provoking side, so we can get all angles covered. So we're getting there. We're slowly chipping away.
It's been a success so far. I've heard a lot of buzz from quite a lot of the self-protection based folks we've had in today. They're all looking forward to seeing that sort of flip side to things. So I'm expecting a good full set of mats for you guys.
Yeah, good, yeah.
So what events are we going to see you guys at throughout the rest of this year? Have you got anything else planned?
Yeah, we're at the festival of martial arts.
Superb. I'll see you at that one.
Yeah, I'll be down for that. I don't know what the itinerary is, but I had a chat with Matt, and I said I'm happy to do gi, no gi, traditional jiu-jitsu, sport jiu-jitsu. So
we've got a good few days, haven't we, for that? So
yeah, so
should be an awesome experience.
whatever comes up.
Happy to teach that.
Yeah. So I'm there just for the Saturday I'm there, and I'm going to do a stint on youth force. So I've had sort of Matt's come and said would I do it, and I thought, well, it's probably the first time that side of it is going to be presented as a standalone kind of session. So it'll be interesting to see who comes along. So I've got some sort of bits to go through with that, probably an hour's worth. So yeah, I should be there on the Saturday.
Well, I look forward to it, guys. Thank you for your time, and
no problem.
Hopefully get on the mats with you guys later. Thank you very much, Craig.
All right.
Thank you very much, Carl.
Thanks a lot.
And yeah, that's everything.